All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another day of Overwatch Apex Season 4. I'm Achilles, joined at the desk by the wonderful Wolf. Welcome back from Taiwan, good sir.
I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to have some more Apex here with you guys. And tonight is a very special night. We're going to have the first ever female player to play in Apex. Gegari is here. She's on the Orcas roster. It's also, for an organization, the first time we're going to be seeing Rox, their foray into Overwatch, in televised matches here in this studio. So very exciting to see how they do because, of course, they're a very famous team from League of Legends, and now their foray into Overwatch, we'll see how successful they can become.
Yeah, kind of want to have that same level of success that they had in League of Legends, as you mentioned. Maybe not so much this last season, but prior to that,
right.
In 2016, before that, that's kind of what they want to channel here today because they have some stiff opposition. They're going up against the Africa Freaks. Blue roster have had some changes. For instance, Mono not going to be on the roster anymore. We have Breck coming in as well as Kalios for the tank line for the squad. So we're not sure how much that's going to change things up. But there's still Recry. There's still Arhan. They have Lucid backing them, IDK as well. So they're still going to be very formidable as far as the DPS is concerned. So Gegari especially, it's going to be her job if she's going to bring out the likes of that Zarya to control the Genji of Arhan.
Absolutely. That's going to be kind of the key factor. And remember, with the mobility changes to the Graviton Surge, if she can actually place those correctly, Arhan's not getting out, no escapes, no real mobility there. So that's going to be a big factor. We've already seen a few Graviton Surges here in Season 4. It's not only the Orcas that we'll be seeing tonight as a new team going into Apex. It will also be the debut of the NC Foxes, very strong challenger team, sponsored by the new startup company MC, and we'll see if they can perform well here tonight against Flashlux, the team that has never made it out of Apex groups.
And I think you would have to say that just on paper, this is probably Flashlux's best chance to make it out of groups, given how their previous seasons have gone. Kongdu Uncia did lose their first match against their sister team of Pantera, but that's going to be the opposition that Flashlux maybe has to worry about. But maybe NC Foxes are going to be a bit of a sleeper team here in this group because they did have a very nice record in Challenger. Their only losses were to GC Busan and LW Red, losing to them twice each. But every other team, the likes of Metabellum, Rox, Orcas, they were able to take them down. So we'll see how Flashlux stands up to them today. Because honestly, if they could walk away with a very convincing win, then maybe we would actually see Flashlux, the promotion tournament kings, make their way out of the group stage into the round of 8 for the first time ever.
They are really having a rough time. They have some new roster changes as well. We'll be talking about a little bit later, but I mean, the Flashlux has been a staple of Apex, but not in the way that if you're a Flashlux fan, you would like them to be. But we'll see how they do. We've seen Metabellum already, and after tonight, we're going to have seen all the new teams that have never played in Apex before. Luxury Watch Red, of course, finally making it in. So this season is very exciting for teams that were hyped up from Challenge that never actually made their debut because they struggled in promotions or, the system just didn't allow for them to progress. We saw Luxury Watch Red just barely not making the cut for Season 3, but now they're all here. The hyped up Rox Orca team that was hyped for so long, Luxury Watch Red. So this season is exciting because we have new faces to some of the people that only watch Apex. But if you're a hardcore Korean Overwatch fan, you get to see these players on the big stage.
Yeah, and of course you can see Rox Orcas fans here out in the audience, have their banners ready to represent. So carrying over from the other games, they're the Rox organization. But of course, Africa Freaks Blue still have quite the fandom, and they are showing up here today in droves.
Yeah, got to eat the meat, but in order to do that, you got to win the series.
And of course, all the posters about eating.
Yep. And if you guys have never had Korean fried chicken, you should definitely give it a try. You've been missing out.
I've never had any Korean fried chicken that quite looks like that, though. The bones coming out either side.
It says, instead of win and go eat, it says to eat and then go win. And wow, this is a pretty cool sign for Gegari. It says, wow, you're so cool. So that's the idea. Is Gegari, as her nickname in Korean, is the Green Frog, will play her first match tonight.
Is that a Simpsons character?
It's definitely, I think it's Simpsons Arhan.
Yeah, it has that style going for it.
It's an Arhan fan, so a team is doing well with we got fangirls drawing Simpsons stylized signs of one of their most famous players. We have to remember tonight too, this is not the Africa Freaks Blue that we saw go to the finals of Season 1.
Yes.
And, of course, make the semifinals of Season 3. This is a different roster. Mono was arguably their best player, many will say, and will tell you that, obviously he got drafted for the national team, but without him here, we saw Breck on MVP space, not the greatest tank player of his time. Kalios was the sub for Runaway. We talked about how we might see him. We were wondering, is he going to come in? But he had contract issues and could never play for the team. So I'm excited to see him in his foray as well. But, this is a series that Rocks could upset a little bit with.
Yeah, well, let's go ahead and actually see the players as we introduce them on stage.
Overwatch Apex Season 4, energized by Hot 6, Round Robin. Today's matchup, Africa Freaks Blue, Rocks Orcas.
All right, there they are on stage. Got a good look at Gregory there on the sidelines, but stiff opposition for them at Freakin' Freaks Blue, even with the swaps coming through. Again, the likes of Recry and Arhan, backed by Lucid, are going to be something to be concerned about. Breck and Kalios coming through might be the easiest part of this team to break through, and if you can get rid of the tanks, perhaps that will be enough.
Yeah, and in the past, it was Breck who played the Reinhardt, where he was most famous for it. It's Kalios, I think, who will be the target if we're going to see that what's been coined the microwave coming out from Zarya, from Gregory, is to burn down Kalios so that the DPS is the star player Krong can find that damage when we go into the larger fights there. So I think that Gregory's got a big ask here in defeating Kalios, who obviously was good enough to be a sub player for Runaway when they were a top 2 team in Apex. So no slouch. It's all right. Clearly friendly at these two.
Nice power handshake they got going on there in the center stage. So these guys should be a bit pumped. And something that I'm actually kind of excited to maybe see here today from Africa Freaks Blue is Tydala, who is sitting on the sub roster, actually was signed to the Rocks Orcas, formerly on Africa Red, moved to Rocks Orcas for the last season of Challenger, then came and joined Africa Freaks Blue for this season. Could see him pitted against his former team, which I think would be an exciting little bit of a spat between the two.
Absolutely, and he's, of course, was on the sister team that could never play in Apex. His biggest performances were in the promotions tournament where he and his team just could not quite break through. We saw Africa versus Africa back then. It was Blue that made it. He's on the roster, but he is a sub. And if Kalios underperforms on the Diva or the Zarya, that's going to be the role that Tydala plays. So if he is struggling against Gregory as we go into these games, Tydala may come out for that role. He also is more famous for his Genji play, of course. He could also play some Doomfist tonight, but we just don't know. But I think there is a very high chance that he comes in as a sub if the Freakin' Freaks do struggle. The Rocks Orcas, however, they have no subs available today. What we see, the 6-man roster, will be played all evening long. And Gregory, maybe some nerves, maybe she struggles. There's no backup plan.
I mean, for those of, there's probably a decent few people here in the audience that don't know that much about Gregory. So how about we just kind of go through her history getting started in Overwatch?
Yeah, I mean, Gregory is one of the most famous players in Korea. And, it's funny, writer Rally Japa, he said, if I had to say it best, I would say, out of the all Lunatic High players, if you take them away, she's probably the most famous Overwatch player in Korea. But she's not only just a player, she's a streamer and a caster, but her story started when she was so good on solo queue, on the ladder. People facing her accused her of hacking, of not being a real player, or not being female either, and she proved them all wrong. And she streamed, she showed, I'm one of the best Zaryas in the world, I'm one of the best in the top 500 on Overwatch, and she became a very popular streamer. She cast on the analysis desk for the finals for Apex Season 2. She cast a lot of Challenger. Of course, when she was casting. She was not on the roster. This is going to be her first televised match, as we said before, but a very famous player because she's female, because she defied the expectations people had for her online. She defied people who said, no, you can't be this good. I think you're cheating. You're using an aimbot, and it was not the case. So.
Yeah. Literally got pulled into the Invent studio to play in front of them on camera, and actually showed that she just is in fact that good at playing the Zarya. So there's a very high chance that we see it brought out here today, or at least I hope so. If she's going over to something like the Winston, as great as that'll be to see, it'll still be a little bit disappointing.
Yeah,
we don't get to see the famed hero from her.
That's right. I think that as soon as we go into potentially King's Row, which will be if Freaka Freaks wins control, I think they will pick the King's Row. We will see it for sure there. Huge cheer as her player portrait is shown on screen here. And she's also famous for her Roadhog play. Again, not really in the meta right now.
Yeah.
Very unlikely we'll see a single second of the hero. But I suppose if things get dire, maybe we'll see her throw it out there. But just another hero that shouldn't be shocked to see from her, but more shocked that it's being played overall.
All players are in the booths. We've got everybody introduced. We're about ready to figure out what our first battleground of the day is going to be for this best of 5 set of Freaka Freaks Blue. Again, 15-0 run in last season of Apex before getting 4-0'd in the semifinal by Lunatic High, who went on to win it all versus Kongtu Panthera. So Freaka Freaks Blue, they want to start off similarly to Season 3, but with a victory at the very end of it, and that could very well start here today.
Could very well. We're going to Nepal for a randomly selected control map here, and we'll see how this one pans out. Neither team really having a preference in terms of control right now. When we got player profiles, all teams are of course asked which control maps they prefer, and neither of these teams saying they feel strongly one way or the other. So this is going to be kind of the test run for the Orcas. Can they flip points? Can they take team fights? And will the momentum of this first map, which is always the craziest one, control, if it goes so strongly in the Freaka Freaks Blue favor, maybe that's when Geggery starts getting nervous and things could fall apart. So I think for morale, for momentum, this first map is going to be very important, not necessarily for the Freaks, but for the Orcas here.
Yeah, they at least want to be competitive. If Rox Orcas can't come up with a victory here today, they want to put up one hell of a fight, because then at least they can instill some fear in the hearts of those other teams waiting in their group, waiting for the round of 8 if they're able to advance in a first or second place spot out of this group. So let's go ahead, see what happens, see what kind of fight both of these teams are going to put up against each other as we dive onto Nepal for our first map of the day.
I get it.
I couldn't even understand that one, I'll be completely honest. I know that it was for the Rox Orcas.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure either, but you could just assume it's something about the Orcas doing well there. So we're heading into our first map here. This is not going to be the map where Zarya excels. You can use Graviton Surge.
All right, let's start things off with a bang. Thank you, Arhan.
Indeed, and we'll see how many big bangs we see in this series with Geggery, but when we go into this particular map, we're not going into Sanctum yet. Sanctum is where Zarya is really going to shine. We have seen Graviton Surges used in the pillar of the center of the map here on Shrine, where it's impossible to avoid it, basically, or to eat it with a diva, because you kind of just throw it into the wall. There's no way that you can absorb. So something that can be used there, but it's a very wide open map, and so the open spaces don't really empower Zarya all too well, compared to when we go to Sanctum, where you can see the early caps and controlling of the choke points, where you kind of camp spawn in a way.
I mean, also on Village as well, when you get down in onto the points, just an open room, not that large, so something like a Graviton Surge in the center could pull multiple people in, and if you have that Diva ultimate to couple with it, then you get that bigger bang. That really could translate into a victory, at least a point flip for the Rox Orcas. So we'll see what they're going to start things off with here on Shrine. I still wouldn't be shocked if we just see the Zarya straight up from Geggery, but hoping that she does have some other heroes practiced up. I expect that Rox Orcas have been working with her to make sure that she's been bringing other heroes up to the level of her Zarya. So we'll see what they have for us once we get this audio issue out of the way. Because turns out you need to hear things when it comes down to Overwatch. It's
very important to hear those audio cues and to know what your teammates are thinking. You know,
yeah, that too. Not even just the cues for the audio and you know, the abilities coming up, but also just being able to talk to your teammates seems like a pretty great thing.
Seems pretty good. It is going to be Geggery at least starting things off here on the Diva. And when you're up against players on the other side, like Arhan, like Recry is so great on the Soldier, also on the Tracer, that protection is going to be very important.
All right, it's going to be near mirrored here as we do start things off, but Arhan going to be on that Genji as expected. And Striker over onto the Tracer, so first going to be the contention here onto the point as Breck dives in, goes rather low, has to kite back around the corner, keeps himself alive, and now Arhan is just straight into the back, but they turn around, the Helix rockets come through, and Krong just takes him down immediately. Recry trying to pick up the pieces here, but both DPS members of Afrika Freaks Blue will go down.
Yeah, huge cheer from the crowd here as Rox wins the first team fight. They nearly had, Recry, I should say more than they, had so many low members to try to pick off there, but he was zoned out really well there by Legend, who's probably the most famous Rox player on their roster from Challenge. His Winston is so strong. He's so good at healing and actually preventing the Tracers from doing damage. You think about Geggery on the Diva, she's going to do a lot of absorption, but it's also Winston oftentimes that can make it so Tracer can't get those secured kills.
Right now, it's got to keep Legend safe as he does go quite low. Go ahead and pop him back up. It's going to be a near flip coming through here for Afrika Freaks Blue as they start pushing back in, and Arhan has the Dragon Blade ready to go, dives into the back line, 2 swipes, takes down Dry. Right as the sound barrier comes through, so a bit too late to save the Zenyatta. He's not going to be getting too much else with that Dragon Blade, and the flip still has not come through. 42% ticking upward here for the Rox Orcas as Geggery gets popped out of the mech, but it's a double kill coming through for Striker off screen as Lucid and IDK both go down. But the rest of Afrika Freaks Blue are not going down without a fight. They fire back, getting rid of the DPS members a near team wipe here onto the Rox Orcas, and we will see the point get flipped.
And Krong, he used the tack visor, but unfortunately couldn't find anything with it. He didn't get the kills he was looking for. If he had been able to find one pick there, I think the Striker Pulse Bomb would have turned the fight, but was not meant to be. And now Afrika Freaks Blue have the ult advantage because that tack visor was used. Arhan's already halfway to that next Dragon Blade, and with the sound barrier available, this should be the Freaks looking to at least get up to even here in control meter.
Well, sound barrier comes down from Afrika Freaks Blue. They want to stay into the fight as Breck goes low, pops the Primal Rage to keep himself alive. Arhan tries to dash away, but Krong yet again has some beautiful tracking coming through. Is able to take him down. Kalios as well falling off screen. It seems like Rox, well, it might just have a very swift retake, especially as Breck does go down.
Very little used in order to flip this too. They hold on to the offensive ultimates, the Pulse Bomb, the Tack Visor, Aid, soon to have the Sound Barrier. And we talked about the ult lead that the Freaks had, and they are going to have a lot of tools to retake this, but if Orcas can buy time using the self-destruct, try to build up to 99, they're still in great position here. And I feel like the only thing that's really missing for them is the Primal Rage. If they had that, they would probably hard fight for the 100% capture. You see Afrika Freaks going to try to use that Dragon Blade to start things off.
Well, Striker's going to start things off with that Pulse Bomb, throws that down, but Arhan here with the Dragon Blade out has already taken out 2, make it a third as Legend will fall. And that might just be enough to shatter the Rox Orcas. Multiple kills coming through, no one going down on the side of the Afrika Freaks, and we'll just go ahead and get rid of Aid right at the very end for good measure. So another fast swap coming through, but it's 88% for Rox Orcas, so one more take could mean that overtime force.
And I mean, this is them really not using anything. That was the question, was were they going to hard commit? They used only the Pulse Bomb to try to defend. Striker couldn't kill Kalios quickly enough, so it didn't work out in the end, but they have tools to retake. They absolutely do.
Krong trying to be careful here. Pops the Tack Visor, goes low, 79 HP, and 2 smacks from Breck will take down both he and Try simultaneously. And yet again, Aid with the sound barrier is just not fast enough to help keep the rest of the members alive, so he will also fall.
Very painful too that he used the sound barrier without getting the impact he was looking for. So that was their biggest tool they had to try to hard engage. With maybe using that, Legend could have built up for the Primal Rage. They don't have that tool anymore. Transcendence might not be available. I mean, we're talking 85% here. No Tack Visor either. This looks like it may be a win for Afrika Freaks.
Yeah, they can get it in the overtime force for sure, but Arhan is also very dangerously close to yet another Dragon Blade, but he gets taken down from the self-destruct from Geggery. Sound barrier now thrown down by the Afrika Freaks, and Striker gets killed by Lucid, and no one is on the point.
Okay, well, rookie mistakes here. Chasing a little bit too hard there for the kills. I mean, Arhan got killed there by the self-destruct. That was a great start. They wanted to crush the fight to not only recapture, but get the team wipe so that they got the win with it. They wanted to do both. They weren't willing to use that zoning to get the cap and then maybe lose it right afterwards. They got greedy. No one was standing on the point, and I say rookie mistake, but this happens at all levels of play. We saw it in the grand finals. Things like this do happen where you get a little bit tunnel vision, and it's unfortunate here, but this gives Afrika Freaks, despite losing that fight, the edge here in this best of 3.
I mean, we saw it a couple times just 2 days ago. Libero getting a 4K on the Doomfist, yet the rest of the team loses point A of King's Row on defense, so it does happen pretty much across the board. One of those things that everybody can really work on is having somebody on the point, but here we go. We will move over to Village here for our second round of Nepal. It's just an all-out brawl, but Arhan will be the one finding the first kill. Now the second as Legend goes down, but Rox Orcas are able to fire back, getting rid of Breck Lucid, and now Arhan with the boop will get taken out, and yet again the Orcas will have a very strong start to the round and should be able to get in on top of the point for the first cap.
And also, look at the swap here. It's Krong now onto the Genji, so we're seeing him switch away from the Soldier on this point. I think it's the better move. And he's a player who told us, you know, and he said in his opening interviews, I want to be a superstar. I want to be like the legends, like Who Are You, like, you know, Haksal. And so he's going to now show his very first Genji. We'll see how the Dragon Blades fly, as the first cap is for the Orcas.
They do have it, almost give it over to Afrika Freaks Blue, but do go ahead and peel back in onto the point. But now it's just the killing fields here for Afrika Freaks Blue. They just go in. A near team wipe will happen. Try yet, just coming up off the respawn, stopping that team kill pop-up from coming through, and Orcas just get swept under the rug immediately. A much faster retake here for Afrika Freaks this time around.
The coordination for dive is better for them. You can see when Breck comes in with Arhan, they're calling out targets, they're picking them off very quickly. Legend is usually the first one to fall because they want to get that tank out of the way and then just bleed through the weaker members on the back line. And we were just seeing this crazy systematic dive from Afrika Freaks Blue, and the Orcas don't have the coordination to stop it, it feels, on control.
Free Cry getting caught up here. Everyone trying to jump in on him. Pulse Bomb comes out, but not be seeing anything. Now throws that down in onto Gegari. Will get the pop. They're out of the suit, and she should be taken care of rather swiftly. The sound barrier will come through, helping to keep her and the rest of the team alive for the moment as Krong draws out the Dragon Blade. Gets a couple swipes through, but the Transcendence is there to go ahead and mitigate the majority of the damage, so no one will go down on the side of Afrika until Lucid just recently falls. Kalios will also be joining him, but it's still going to be Afrika Freaks Blue trading upward, at least evenly, while they control the point, 52% going upward.
They hold on to the Dragon Blade too. We'll see if Arhan wants to use it. Doesn't necessarily need it here to help pick off Legend. So staggered respawns is pretty terrible now for the Orcas. That Dragon Blade was so nullified by IDK, who had 2 really nice boops there away. So then when he wasn't able to do the burst damage, the Transcendence healed everybody up. So IDK just showing his prowess on the Lucio. And now a little bit of spawn camping, coming out from the Freaks as they have ult advantage. It's going to be very difficult to use this self-destruct to get the flip. They don't have sound barrier.
Getting rid of Recry's a nice way to start things off, but Arhan is looking to trade it back. Already gets rid of Krong, the enemy Genji. Not standing a chance, but he can't get much else because of the Transcendence yet again. But Afrika Freaks Blue still have the point, now being back-capped by somebody on the side of Rox Orcas. Nearly have it for the flip, will be contested. It's up to 94%. They have to get back into this one. We'll see the self-destruct thrown down by Kalios here, looking for something. Not going to be finding anything, but Breck comes up with a double, and now overtime is ticking down. Striker dashing around, trying to keep this one in contention. Is very low on HP, and now the sound barrier has come through for Afrika. Striker will dash back in. Legend rejoining here with the rest of the squad. They will be taken care of, and this might just be the end of Nepal.
It looks like it. That's going to be the kill there onto Striker. Overtime ticks away, and even though there were signs of life in this for sure for the Orcas, Afrika Freaks Blue has the coordinated dive, and Breck, we wondered how well he was going to play on this roster, but the communication is clearly there. When we see the dive-ins, it's Arhan and Breck who go into the backlines, kill the Lucio or kill the Zenyatta. Or if Legend is overextending, they pick him off first. And remember, Legend is very famous for his Winston play in Challenger, but when you're playing against a new level of play, when you're playing against the last season semifinalist, Afrika Freaks Blue, maybe you can't play as aggressively. It doesn't work as well against better coordination. And we didn't know how well Kalios was going to play the D.Va, but he's not disappointing either. But I think the main factors here are just good target selection with the dive. And, you know, the thing that really cost them the map there, if I want to be really picky, is they tried to contest really hard on that second point. The split spawns, but they had so much less time, and they gave some extra ult charge there for the Freaks. It just didn't come back in as a 6-man. They came back in as 2, 2, and 2 very slowly. And then we had Aid on the point trying to buy time, but not giving healing. The sound barrier usage wasn't perfect. But this is just map number 1, and I feel like we had a good showing from them. And the fear that we were talking about of maybe if they get crushed, they start to get a little bit nervous. They start to feel the pressure of their first match on stage. But I don't think that with what we just saw there, they should start to feel the pressure.
Yeah. Well, now they get their map selection at least, as they are the losers of that first one. So Nepal going over to Freaka Freaks Blue will start things off 1-0 here in this best of 5. We'll see what Rocks Orcas are going to favor as far as their hybrid map coming into this one. Maybe they do want to pick a map where the Zarya is a bit more viable. King's Robe, for instance, we see a lot of Zarya's Graviton Surge into the statue, buy the health pack, pull everybody through, and then Diva ult behind. So perhaps they want to move over to that map and try that sort of strategy, or maybe they're going to surprise us a little bit more.
I think King's Row is the safe play, and when you're down 0-1, you want to go with the safe play. And we will see, no doubt, loud cheers, or, you know, hear cheers. I guess you can't really see those unless you got some sort of super-powered goggles. We were going to hear the cheers when we see the Zarya play. You have to expect with this map pick, Gregory brings it out. We'll see Legend this time on the Reinhardt on defense. And we'll see if they want to do a Phalanx-esque defense with either the Hanzo or the Junkrat, or if they want to play it a little bit more standard. With how well we've been seeing out of Krong, the Genji, and also his decent soldier play, they may just take the more old-school approach with the 2-2-2.
See what these guys are going to piece together. King's Row, as we were talking about, does get selected, so this is going to be a bit even for either side. Of course, the Freaka Freaks Blue are also going to be very well practiced on this, but this is going to be the most comfort that Rocks can afford themselves at the moment. So we'll see if they can have some better results. Maybe make it all the way to the end of King's Row, if not win the map itself, because they came damn close to winning that first round on Nepal. Could have extended us into Sanctum, but unfortunately, we're bested by the Freaka Freaks Blue. So let's see how they fare as we dive into our second map of this series. It's King's Row.
Get it?
So attack side first for the Freaks, and to a little bit of surprise, and we haven't walked out of the gates yet, Gregory is on the Diva locked in currently. So, you know, I was talking about how they would more likely take a 2-2-2 approach because that's how they've been playing the map in Challengers. But you would have thought with Gregory on the roster, this would be the place where we'd see the Zarya. There are a few Zarya players that stand out throughout history of Overwatch. Players like Zunba, you know, Gregory is famous as a streamer, right, more than a pro gamer.
Yeah.
And players like Hoon, right? So these are the players, when you think about King's Row, you think if one of these players is on the roster, you have to at least entertain the possibility of using some pseudo phalanx style, the very defensive turtling style, but not going to be the case here for the Orcas. They want to use Krong instead on the high ground here with the soldier, and it's going to be kind of old school meta, or more standard, I should say, not the new age Zarya Reinhardt.
Yeah, just going to be sticking with this one. We'll see how Krong is going to fare over onto the soldier yet again. Genji wasn't the most convincing, but then again, he's being compared actively to Arhan, so that does make it a bit of a tough sell. Recry trying to spot there with the Sonic Arrow. It's actually going to swap over to the McCree, as a Freaka Freaks Blue will be running the Phalanx comp with the Genji coming through.
Okay, let's see how this one pans out. Going to be very, very slow pushing with this Reinhardt here, and McCree needs to make sure that he can get the damage done. Legend diving in real deep here, but they get the pick onto Recry. That's half the damage gone.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and stop up that McCree from building up for the Deadeye. Sarhan dashes his way back to safety around the corner, as the rest of his team here to back him up.
The problem with this comp, obviously, or one of the weaknesses of the comp, is that everyone has to be there. So even just one kill, just one pick means, okay, we got to reset, we got to get back, and you lose all of your position. It's a very tug-of-war, shove in to the point. Now, they're successful of getting in here this time.
Well, that's a really high energy. Kalios right there. Caps up to 100 in just a few seconds, and now it's just burning away through Legend with the help of Free Cry. Will take him down. The Nano Boost will come through. Graviton Surge very swiftly, and they are just going to destroy the Rocks Orcas. Triple kill for Kalios, double for Breck, and that is going to be point A going to a Freak of Freaks.
We know that one's going to be in the highlight reel. Watch this one again. No one is even nearby. Look at Gegari's positioning. Defense Matrix totally positioned the opposite way, and when she turned around to use it, she was already demeched. Just, I think, a panic moment there as she realized what was going to happen. And, I mean, that's going to be on the highlight reel. If, Freak of Freaks go round of 4, you have this little thing where it says, you see Kalios like, Kalios, and then you see the big Graviton Surge. That one's going to be there.
All right, well, lots of swaps coming through here for the Rocks. Orca Striker over onto the McCree. Krong onto the Sombra on the Streets phase. He does have a couple health packs to choose from, and Legend is also trying to go toe-to-toe on that Reinhardt. But again, Breck, this was what he was known for, as we do see that Deadeye popped out, but Recry will get boot back, so not going to be finding any targets as Breck does get slept, knocked down to the ground.
He's hacked, slept, and knocked down, but still so much healing protects him. And look at this. He tops down the Earth Shatter. I don't know if that was even needed, but this has been a dominant Streets phase. The Orcas are going to have to regroup here, but I mean, as you said before that fight happened, Breck's famous for his Earth Shatters and his good positional play on King's Row with Reinhardt when he was the meta tank player, hero. But I mean, disjointed, I think, at best, was the Rocks Orcas defense. They didn't have an EMP yet, obviously. They didn't have the Earth Shatter. They'd made a lot of hero swaps, so it's tough to have perfect coordination when you're making moves like that. But now Arhan is going to play the Hanzo.
They're just going all out on this one. We saw this from
look at
Team
this
Korea.
shot.
Another one coming through, locks up multiple people, but the kills have not spilled through yet. They do get a couple of Striker and Legend go down, but the big clump of them locked up into that Graviton Surge have not fallen. Krong is able to go ahead and answer one back. Gegary over onto this famed Zarya, has the Nano Boost, tries to fire away, but doesn't quite have the energy to get through the Reinhardt shield, but she will force Breck back. They will stop the payload just in front of point B.
There's a little bit of hyper-aggression from Kalios. So the Graviton Surge accuracy there was basically perfect right through the corner. But the real story was Krong got 3 kills on the backline. That's what I want to see. If we had to replay that, it would be pretty hype. Now, we do have possibly the Hanzo Dragon Strike combo to come in here. He's just going to throw it out blind, actually.
Yes, tossing it through, but won't be finding anything for it. And now we'll have to go ahead and kite back away from this position. Shoots out the scatter arrow, but won't find anything. In the meantime, Gegary finally did take down Breck. It took a little bit longer, but she got him.
I think that the Freaks are having a little bit too much fun here with their large advantage. I think that starting to get a little bit more coordinated, wait for the Graviton Surge, perhaps hold on to that Dragon Strike would have been the better option, but either way, they're very close to that first checkpoint here. And now they're going to have to set up for the next push. They don't really have any ults to hard engage. They could use the Nano Boost, obviously, to lead into an Earth Shatter or lead into that Graviton Surge for the approach.
Let's see how Gegary can land this one. She's building up for it. 73% nearly has it ready to go. As they keep poking out, Orcas just trying to keep this payload locked up. Playing around the back side. They're playing on the Afrika Freak side, really, here. As Breck goes in for the charge, not going to be finding the kill. And Gegary pushing forward yet again, trying to build up for that energy. They get rid of Breck. Earth Shatter comes down. They lock up one. They get Lucid. They get rid of Arhan. And Rocks Orcas will be able to maintain control of the payload.
And now Gegary has the Graviton Surge. They have a lot to use with this. They don't have the Earth Shatter, but this could be a massive opportunity with no Diva on the side of the Freaks. If Striker's in proper position, he could have an incredible Deadeye. So, going to be the battle of the McCrees here for a moment, but an extra tool definitely on the side of the Orcas here. And Gegary is leading the charge, you can see, up at the front lines, just behind Legend.
It's been a meme for a while, but beautiful tracking. If you really want to see it, just keep your eyes on Gegary here with this Zarya.
She's going to go for it.
She's pushing in, looking for the Graviton Surge, pulls them all in. That's going to be the sound barrier coming down, and Legend gets something on the backside. Recries Deadeye, finds 2, Gegary and Striker both falling. Breck with a hack, doesn't even matter, can still just swing away. takes down Aid, and that should be the payload, maybe making it into the station.
Oh.
He's going to get slept as he tries to push through and get rid of Try.
A nice sleep, but I don't think it's going to matter. We talked about the Battle of the Crees there. It was an old Western movie, essentially, as it was Recry who killed Stryker first. They both used the Deadeye. We didn't see it on screen, but he was able to get that kill, ruined the combo. That was the only thing they had to pair.
Got the Sonic Arrow down. He spots multiple and has that
He's
Dragon
going
Strike
for it.
ready to go. Will throw this one out. Finds a decent bit of damage in on the Legend, and he's going to get followed up on by Breck. Takes him down, and Arhan also gets Stryker off screen. Aid able to get rid of one, but it's very much Rocks. Orcas losing out on this fight. Geggery trying to retreat. Will have her barrier taken down, and that last shot there from Kalios will take her out. So near team wipe yet again onto the Orcas as this payload keeps pushing forward, just now in front of point C with 2 minutes remaining.
And yet again, they stagger the respawns. The Orcas, I feel like, don't realize often, oh, hold that thought. Look at this potential backdoor Earth Shatter. He's still going to go for it.
Throws
it is
down.
shut down.
Straight into the bubble, and now he's going to be slept up on the stairs. Goes low, but is still alive in the fight. Meanwhile, Legend swinging away in the back line as Geggery moves back over onto the Diva, gets the nano boost, and will go ahead and take down Kalio. So without the tank line, a Freak of Freaks Blue have to kite back around the first corner.
That was a cool idea there for Breck, but when you get spotted and all Legend has to do is right-click to put up a shield, it's not going to necessarily work out. Aron's going to possibly toss out another blind Dragon Strike here. I feel like this
I'm really
could be
surprised he's
paired.
stuck with this.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this could be paired with the Zarya a little bit better.
I feel
But
like
it builds so quickly.
I think we might be seeing him Dragon Strike from the spawn room and then swap, perhaps. He was starting to kite back. Can't quite see. Never mind. He's back up onto the high ground now. So for a second, I thought he was, but he was just peeling back to regroup with the rest of the team.
This could be an opportunity. It's going to be about Geggery trying to eat this, though. She did switch back onto the Diva. He's watching. He sees the defense matrix go down.
And she's throwing that one up. Dragon Strike does come through as Legend and Breck are just in the corners, but they're just going to go ahead, sacrifice, have a battle as they both charge off the side of the map, killing each other. A nice little embrace as the Graviton Surge does come down. Geggery immediately popped out of that Diva mech, was not able to have the defense matrix up for that one, and that might just be the completion here. Nobody can contest this. Legend tries to swap, can't get there in time.
I think Legend probably shouldn't have gone for the if I
suicide.
go down, I'm taking you with me style there.
Yeah.
Removing his shield there allowed the extra damage to come out from the Zarya. He had so much energy there. I feel like a point I was going to make before we had that Breck shenanigan where he was trying to do the backdoor Earth Shatter. One thing I've noticed about their play here in this series is they don't often realize or adapt when they're losing a team fight very well. They continue to fight and then retreat late, so they just kind of stagger their death timers and they end up with this situation where it's like, okay, we lost a fight, and by the time the team should be regrouped for the next push, 2 more members are dying at that moment, and they have to wait a little bit longer, and it's 4v6, and that allowed so much free pushing there at the end. So realizing fights are lost earlier and just either killing yourself or jumping off the side or retreating faster, I think is something that they could certainly improve, as we're just seeing a lot of staggered death timers.
Yeah. Well, in the end, it was a nice little delay there by the Rocks Orcas, especially in front of point B. They were able to buy themselves quite a bit of time. So 29 seconds is all that's remaining for the Afrika Freaks as they move over to the defense.
Maybe a expectation that we're going to see the Zarya Reinhardt defense for the Freaks, possibly even the Junkrat, because we do see the Pharmacy is locked in for the Orcas for the attack. It's very strong against that type of setup, but unfortunately for them, it's not going to be very strong against Recry's Soldier here and Lucid on the Ana. So that may be a very easily knocked out of the sky Pharmacy comp, but we'll see how it pans out here. They may simply switch it as soon as they see that it's not the Reinhardt Zarya that they expected.
All things considered, Rocks Orcas seems like they're still having a pretty good time there in the booth, or at least Legend is after his nice suicide charge to take out Breck. We'll see how Orcas are going to handle this one. Legend's actually going to be swapping over onto the Doomfist. Stryker starting things off likely for the Sonic Arrow. They'll be moving back over to the Tracer. This is going to be a triple DPS with Krong hovering in the skies with the Pharmacy comp.
The idea here is for the Doomfist to kill Recry, so Legend is going to try to get the picks onto Recry, so then the Pharmacy can do extra work. As you can see already very quickly figuring out where they are and relegating them into this narrow choke point. Look at that concussive blast as well. Just really good usage here to try to zone them into DPS range, but Legend unable to get the picks. He is in good position here.
Needs to get healed up a little bit. There we go. We'll get a bit from Mercy. Charges in, finds IDK right off the bat. Will get slept, almost gets taken out. Will finally fall as Kalios follows up for the kill. Recry at the moment just trying to get rid of the Pharah out of the sky, as he and Aid have both gone very low. There we go. Finally gets one half. Should be able to get rid of the other very swiftly. Double kill for him. And a Freaks Blue will be holding this one quite comfortably. Not even a first tick here for Rox Orcas.
Yeah, they went really deep there. When you don't get the mega picks with the Doomfist, they wanted to kill Recry. They didn't want to kill IDK. It's a nice pick regardless. But if you kill Recry, then suddenly the pharmacy that's literally just hovering there becomes a lot more difficult to deal with. And obviously she was knocked out of the sky there last, but couldn't get into proper position because Recry was there, because he healed himself up. Ult advantage definitely on the side of the Freaks now. And you know, it's definitely going to be tough, but we'll see if they can get the pick they were looking for this time.
Oh, Arhan will get taken down from behind. Legend is giving him that rocket punch to the rear. Will take him out and finds another one as IDK goes down. So that's 3 openings here for the side of Rox Orcas. Will be on the point, will get that second tick, and likely just finish the cap.
Yeah, they have a res available now, and they
got the nano boost. They're going to try to contest this.
Yeah, they are going to contest this. It's going to be with Breck. He doesn't actually have his ultimate just yet, but still doing a lot of damage here. Needs the heals.
He also just doesn't have that many targets. Meteor Strike will take Legend out to safety. Just had to use that one to keep himself alive and in the fight. Now jumping forward. Nice seismic slam onto multiple members. Forces out that biotic grenade, but a Freaks Blue. They are able to win the fight in the long run, it would seem, as Krong rejoins on the low ground, gets taken out immediately, but the cap was there. So it's still 4 minutes, 18 seconds here for Rox Orcas on the streets phase.
And Achilles, that's the thing that leaves the worst kind of taste in your mouth is when you use so many ultimates to contest, you fly in there, you win the fight, but you don't prevent the capture. Seems like there's a lot of that going on here in Season 4 on this map in particular, but
that was basically a similar situation to what we saw 2 days ago. Meta Athena versus Runaway.
Yep.
4K on the Doomfist, and then all of a sudden, oh wait, they still got point A. So it happens yet again here today.
You can talk about it was a really good contest, but it doesn't matter if they still get the cap at the end of the day. And now Krong, totally uncontested here. Where's Recry?
Great shots coming through from him. Finds the body hits. Aid will be able to try, bring them back in, but Krong will fall swiftly thereafter. Able to follow up and get rid of Breck, who, again, is not looking the most comfortable on the Winston. This is a guy who, oh my god, the double kill coming through, making a triple. Legend. The rising uppercut gets rid of Arhan. He finds Recry and then just rocket punches his way to another one.
Very comfortable Doomfist play here on this map, and he's built up another Meteor Strike. Looks like he wants to flank the DPSs yet again. And if he can get the kills, it means Krong can stay on that Pharah even longer. So Kalios is going to switch into now the Zarya. We are going to see the more Phalanx-esque defense, as it was not working without it. But I like the idea here, what they're using with Legend. Can he get the pick? He's going to jump in from the back.
Looking for something. Knows that defense matrix is about ready to go, and now it's going to be the Transcendence coming down, so wants to hold the pulse bomb at least for the end of this one. Throws it down, but straight into the defense matrix there. Gregory completely ready to go on that. A Freaks Blue will use the sound barrier. Meteor Strike here from Legend. Not going to be finding any kills. Takes himself out to safety as they come up with multiples and bring back everybody that they lost with that res. Krong and Try now rejoining the fight, are able to follow up for more kills. Legend will get another onto IDK, and that's going to be the completion onto point B with just about 4 minutes remaining.
Legend is building really consistent Meteor Strikes. He's also killing the backline. He's going to go to the spawn room to switch now to this Reinhardt. We see this so much to finish points. Really start getting popular in the World Cup qualifiers, and now it's permeating through Apex, and on this third point through the Foundry, you make this swap. They're actually going to run Krong, not on the Tracer though, but actually on that EMP, or sorry, on the Sombra to get the EMP. A bit interesting variation on the comp, to say the least.
Trying to change things up quite a bit, and Legend's not going to be on the Doomfist either. He's over onto this Reinhardt, firing away. We'll see who can build up for this Graviton search. Kalios does have the lead, had that early start on it. Gregory's already back to about 30%. See how rapidly she can get that for herself. Krong over to the high ground, not going to be getting too much harassed down with his Mach 10, so he'll have to jump in, maybe try to find a flank position.
Yeah, it's tough to farm health packs in this exact position on the final phase here, so needs to do damage to get that EMP, but there's a lot to combo with it.
Oh, he's looking for it, throws it down, finds multiple members as that nano boost comes through, and able to scoop up the kills. Gregory falling off the map. Krong
He did it.
Go ahead and jump.
He did it off that jump, that Zarya tech where you can just grenade your shoes, and he flew up there, so he got the extra height. Let's watch this again. Watch how he does this. Jumps up over the Reinhardt shield. Absolutely necessary to use that trick to actually make that happen. Something that if you are a Zarya main in solo queue should absolutely learn. Kind of also help you reach new heights, reach new places that you can't with a standard jump, but really well executed here, and it's going to halt the cart for now.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the biggest investment for them. They still have something like the Earth Shatter here from Breck. Needs to have a better one and not just throw it straight into the shield of Legend. So we'll see how he fares in that regard. For now, the Nano Boost is going to come through, and he's going to find the Earth Shatter. Legend locking up really just the enemy Reinhardt. They do get rid of Breck, but now the payload is moving at a rather swift pace, getting closer and closer to this completion, and they still have about 2 minutes on the clock. I will pop that tack visor at distance just to try to zone them back.
Yeah, very much a zoning tack visor there, but very expensive investment. Breck died before he could use the Earth Shatter. He still holds it. Arhan's now swapped again off the Reaper. He's back onto this Hanzo he's been doing so well at, and it's very difficult to kill the Hanzo, especially with low DPS coming out of the mag, you said, on the side of the Sombra. When you have the Zarya shields there, you have Breck protecting you. I like this approach, though. This is one way to, if you get a good
I don't
angle.
like it when that happens. Arhan just finds the shot instantly onto Striker, shutting down the Widowmaker.
1v1 me.
Dear.
Okay, let's see if Kalios can have another incredible Graviton Surge, this time potentially from the high ground. I don't think the Orcas know he's here.
He would like to throw it rather soon because his energy is dwindling at the moment.
Here he
You
comes.
don't see him. He's leaping in from behind. Nano Boost coming down. Only catches a couple members, but the Dragon Strike is also there, and Arhan will go ahead and pick up the double kill. And now Orcas are completely cut off. The heal deny from the Biotic Grenade coming down, and Geggery will get popped, as does Aid.
Somewhat egregious, too, for the Orcas is that Krung used the EMP in panic there, but of course the fight was already lost. Now they don't have an EMP that could have been paired with the follow-up Earth Shatter to get the completion, and things look disastrous now for the Orcas with those wasted, and this setup doesn't feel like a strong one anymore. Even though they have the Earth Shatter, what's going to be with it is questionable now.
I mean, look at this rollback that has come through onto the payload, already shifting back around the corner. They have to create so much new distance here, the Rocks Orcas, and they only have the 2 ultimates to try to make this one work. It seems like they don't know what to do. The Earth Shatter comes through, makes it around the shield, but still doesn't really hit anybody, and now Breck just go ahead and use his own if he can find the angle. Sleep Dart will come down. They're zoned back. They have to get to the payload.
They need to get on it here. Recry is going to use the attack visor yet again for zoning. I don't think there's any way they get on this. Just a brief contest now.
Yeah, it was just Krong dashing in, was able to get the tag, but now it's going to be a massive Graviton Surge. Earth Shatter ready to go from Breck as soon as he gets on hack, but might not even need to use it because he is just swinging his way to victory. There we go, gets the lockup, finds the kill in onto Striker. Krong all on his lonesome, can't even get on the payload because of the other Dragon Strike. He'll kill Try, who I believe might have been leaving the spawn. And that will be King's Row going over to the Afrika Freaks, now 2-0 at match point in this best of 5.
Well, Achilles, we thought we were going to see some Zarya. We knew the comfort map pick came up for the Orcas, but it was Kalios who impressed, who had the flying Graviton Surges either by rocket jump or by high ground. There was no one to scout for him. Mistakes on the side of Orcas with respawn timers. I feel like the one who had the most impressive run for the Orcas was actually Try. He had several really good sleep darts on Breck when he was trying to get the Earth Shatters, but unfortunately, Geggery doesn't get to shine on the hero she's so famous for, is outshined by Kalios in his debut match here. And already another new scary Zarya player in this new meta with the buffs to the Graviton Surge. And Arhan really showing off that Hanzo play as well. Good accuracy. I think for the Freaks, they're having a lot of fun in this first best of 5. For them for Season 4?
I mean, it definitely seems like they're having a blast with this one. And the problem with the Rocks Orcas is that it just seems like they don't know what to do. They don't know what to bring out to get around what Afrika Freaks is assembling here, because we saw multiple swaps. Striker moving over to the Reaper at the end. Geggery moving back off the Zarya, back onto the Diva. Moving Legend from the Doomfist. It was a bit of a cluster there for him. We'll see if they can regroup and pick up a win when we come back from the break. So don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back in just a few minutes to see if Rocks Orcas can make this a series or if it will be a 3-0 stomp by the Afrika Freaks.
에너지가 필요한 순간 핫식스와 함께 핫하게 즐겨라. 올여름 가장 핫한 리그 오버워치 핫식스 에이펙스.
Game, record, and stream without compromise.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're at match point between Africa Freaks Blue and the Rocks Orcas. New team debuting here on the Apex stage. We've been playing in Challenger for a while, but maybe you have the nerves, the jitters here, performing in such a large audience that is affecting their performance. Because honestly, they looked a bit competitive at the start of Nepal on Shrine, then here on King's Row on their attack. The first 2 points looked quite good from them. Even their defense
it just felt
was
like
pretty strong.
Kalios stole the show, though.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we saw amazing Graviton surges. He made Gegri's life hell with his microwave full energy burnouts of the Diva, knocking her out of the mech, making it difficult to even block that Graviton surge. But it was really, just get around the Reinhardt shield was the plan of attack for Kalios when he was, dropping those down. So let's see how this third map pans out here as we head into Assault. I feel like, we thought we were going to see a lot of priority on Gegri Zarya, but she's still very comfortable to play the Diva. And we'll see if they want to plan around just the more standard comp where they had more success with Krong on the Soldier, for example, that we saw on Control and at the first part of King's Row, or if they're going back into the Zarya, because I feel like the Soldier play has been quite nice. Horizon would be a good map for the Zarya, but it's going to be Volskaya. Interesting, given that Africa Freaks Blue have been very vocal that this is their favorite and by far best Assault map. So an interesting choice, to say the least, but the Africa Freaks are going to be very happy with this one.
I mean, it might be one of those situations where it's like, we're not good enough at any other map to try to beat them because they do outskill us at the moment. It's our first performance on stage, so we have to get past that. So maybe it's, all right, you know what? Volskaya is also our best, so let's just go ahead, pick that, and see if we can be competitive, if not take down the Africa Freaks here on this map. Because, I mean, that would be a bit of a statement and would instill quite a bit of confidence into the Rocks Orcas if they could do so. But, like you said, it just kind of seems like they're picking themselves into the end of the series.
Yeah, it feels that way, but they've got to give it one last shot here, Achilleos. There's so many games shown from the Africa Freaks on this map, so perhaps they have a counter strategy prepared. We'll have to find out.
Yeah, we'll see what they've got for us See if they're going to show anything new, because they've already been flipping around to a couple different picks. So let's see what happens as we move over onto Volskaya for potentially our last map of this first series of the day.
I get it.
All right, here we are on Snowy Volskaya with the Freak of Freaks Blue starting things off on the defense. Rocks Orcas will be on attack. We'll see what they're going to piece together. At the moment, we see Krong hovering over that Sombra, but honestly, I don't want to see it.
I don't think it's been the best. He did have that one moment off screen where he got 3 backline pickoffs, which was pretty impressive. But beyond that, I was not sold. I was much more sold, in fact, on his Pharah play. A very difficult map to pull that off on right now, especially when you know Recry is going to be on the Soldier no matter what you run. But as something to consider perhaps for their next series, not necessarily for this one, at least as we have our eyes on Volskaya. Arhan's on his Sombra. You know, we had for a long time Lucid playing the hero, but Arhan now the main DPS has actually been doing this. Is the new trend, is not to use your secondary support anymore, but to use your Tracer player on the Sombra. And well, going to be a solid normal defense for the Freaks.
Yeah, but going to be a bit different here from the Orcas. His try is going to be on the Soldier, with Krong on that Sombra and Striker on the Tracer. So triple DPS threat coming out from them as they go ahead and push around the right flank. Want to get the wrap around, so they have the high ground advantage here and can cut off the Afrika Freaks. If they get a pick, makes it that much harder for them to rejoin their team.
Gregory just protecting there as they approach the high ground with the D.Va, not using a lot of the Matrix, in fact, so very efficient. And Recry knows his position is long for this world. He's just going to try to loop around, but already Legend is nearly dead here.
Yeah, had that Discord door bottom, goes dangerously low, as you can see on the screen, but will be getting popped back up. But again, it's only the one source of healing, and then the health packs that he can get from the hacks from Krong. But Kalios is just able to go ahead and scoop up 2 very easily, and the rest of the team is going to go ahead and bail off the map where they can to go ahead and just get themselves back to safety. Legend does have that leap.
Very quick respawns here for the Orcas too, not getting staggered this time, just immediately realizing, okay, hey, we got to get back and set up for the next push. When you're trying to go toe-to-toe as a flex soldier player versus one of the best soldiers in Korea, you're going to have a bad time. I think killing Recry is going to require a coordinated dive with Legend on the attack, getting onto that high ground, and so far they've been unsuccessful as they're going to look for it one more time here, at least taking the staircase to go around.
Krong moving out with the invisibility, just trying to scout the positions of the members here of Afrika Freaks Blue. Recry has already repositioned all the way across the other side of the point.
Okay, here's the attempt to get him. Unfortunately, failed again, and now this means the high ground is still going to remain in control for the Freaks.
And they try to get a couple kills. They are able to get rid of IDK and Lucid. Now Recry does go down to Striker, scoops up the kill, finds the second one in onto Breck. That's 4 members dead with IDK just now respawning. Arhan trying to delay here, will snap back, and that might just be the point. Or at least several ticks going over to the side of Rocks Orcas.
Kalios
will be tossed out. They want to try to delay this one. Kalios will make it back into the mech in time, but it's going to get popped very swiftly thereafter as Arhan keeps delaying.
I don't think they see him. Okay, it looks like he is spotted there by A. Do they have a way to use this EMP, though, is the big question. Already the Transcendence has been used.
EMP comes down, Tac Visor was popped, but the sound barrier is there from the side of the Rocks Orcas to go ahead and try to mitigate the damage and try with his own Tac Visor, picks up 2, and that will be the point, just with a little bit of a delay coming through.
This was very risky for the Freaks, and now we could see an attempted double cap here because the tick was so heavy. They instantly get the kills, the staggered respawns coming over, and they're heading across the map. The Freaks, it was a very heroic attempt to hold, using the self-destruct to try to buy time to have an amazing EMP, but so many tools wasted. This is a great opportunity now for the Orcas to get that coveted double cap.
I mean, what looked heroic is now foolish. Onto the point goes the Rocks Orcas, already get the pick in onto Lucid. Self-destruct didn't find anybody, but it was enough to zone them back. Arhan getting jumped on will be taken down by Striker before he could use the EMP to try to turn the tides of this battle. Striker yet again wreaking havoc. We'll see Breck popping the Primal Rage, just trying to smack them all away where he can. Almost had Aid locked up into the corner, but he was able to make his way out with the move speed. And now Breck is isolated and has to bail out.
Okay, here comes Arhan's EMP. It does end up killing off the other Sombra there. Actually, barely survives, yeah.
Comes up with the kills onto both the tanks, getting Gregory out of that mech and following up very swiftly onto Legend. And Arhan is just going to go ahead and pick up all of these. Finds Krong, finds the Baby Diva in the end. And they get the hold, but that's 2 ticks going over to the Orcas with 4.5 minutes remaining. And now Legend, here we go. This is what I want to see, is back over onto the Doomfist.
So this is such a weird thing to see with the solo tank Diva, with the Doomfist here, with how the Orcas playstyle has always been around Legend's Winston. But the dive defense has been so good for the Freaks consistently when they're trying to go and kill Recry that I like this swap a lot more. It's going to be the EMP to start the engage. For an angle here already expected though by the Freaks.
For Arhan, almost has the kill, takes him dangerously low. And Arhan will be able to snap back, and it just gives him that much more ult percentage as he has that health pack that he can rely on. So now he's up to 70% yet again, and Aid will go down. Has the sound barrier, and that's likely going to be the Rox Orcas having to hightail it out of here, especially as Tri falls as well. So yes, they will all just go ahead, pile off the map, just go ahead and try to reset. And just like that, Legend is already swapping off the Doomfist. Barely gave it a chance.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about already how he was the star of the team, and he was the one who made the dive play work really well. And when you have a rocky first attempt like that, you really have to wonder, should we just go back to what we're used to what we know? And that's what they're going to roll with here. The Freaks, again, holding on to basically all of their ultimates. I think it's going to take at least 2 pushes to secure this final tick. For the Orcas, because they're going to have to use 1 to at least try to bait out some of the ultimates. Arhan especially has that EMP. Good angle here, gets the double.
It drops it down straight in onto the tank. Sound barrier will come out for the Rox Orcas, but they already lose out onto Striker. The self-destruct kills Krong as well. Now Gregory popped out of the mech. This is just going to be another failed push. They still have 3 minutes just about here on the clock, but it seems like Afrika Freaks Blue have found their ground to stand on.
As I was saying, though, it's going to take more than 1 push. This one at least got them the self-destruct, got the EMP. The next one, they could use Gregory's self-destruct with an EMP to try to engage. All they have to do is coordinate 1 time to get the final tick, because they did get that great double push earlier. Did get the double tick from that failed defense from the Freaks, but this is a good opportunity now. They still have 2 minutes and 20.
But they lose Tri, so that's just more time bought by Arhan by himself. And he's just sitting here just stacking up.
EMP.
Yep. So percentage after percentage every time he takes one of those. 61% ready to go. I mean, Rox Orcas, if they all in on this push, if they don't get it, that's probably going to be it.
Yeah, that's probably going to be it. And Legend doesn't have the Primal Rage because he, as a Winston player, you can't really just poke to build charge. You have to have a heavy dive. And with the committal to killing Tri and his death there, he couldn't build any up. So he's been so long away from this with the late swap. It's going to be the EMP to start the engage here. They want to use self-destruct.
Well, they're holding on to it now. For now, the hack comes through. They will pop Kalios out of the mech, so that's going to be a nice start here. The Transcendence will come down from the side of Lucid, so they have to survive for a bit longer. This will be answered by Tri, trying to keep everybody topped up, but Striker has already gone down. Now the EMP dropped. The sound barrier is there from the side of the Afrika Freaks Blue. They keep themselves in the fight.
But this is exactly the fight they wanted. They had the zoning. They got the advantage there from the self-destruct.
Still just not looking great here for Rox Orcas. The time it gets drained out. Legend with the Primal Rage picks up 1 onto Recry. Now looking for Kalios, who rejoins the fight full HP, and Arhan is pushing back in, looking for a hack onto Legend, but doesn't even need it. Can just spray into his backside with that gun, and we'll just go ahead and take him down. Now has the hack on the big health pack, and it seems like this might just be a hold on point B for Afrika Freaks Blue. 91.3% was accrued by the Rox Orcas, so Afrika Freaks Blue on their attack basically have to get the double cap for themselves to win the game.
And when you see a Widow swap like this, you have to feel like it's real desperation. They're just trying to get some lucky snipes here to get the kills, but I don't think it's going to work at Kilios. I mean, this is certainly an opportunity, sure, but a direct engage is going to be difficult against the EMP, against Recry on the high ground who's got tack visors, but I mean, they're really just grasping at straws at this point. The engage was really well coordinated there with Gregory's self-destruct, but the Afrika Freaks just had the better defense with the sound barrier from IDK on the high ground. And I guess you just got one last chance, one more shot, Kilios. Let's see what they can make of it.
All right, well, they're going to try to open up something. Arhan throws down the EMP, immediately jumps out to safety to keep himself alive, and Gregory has been popped out of the mech and will go down in the Baby Diva form. Sound barrier yet again, just too late from the side of Aid to keep everybody alive. He and Striker, really the only 2 recipients of it, as Tri gets leapt on by Breck. He gets taken out, and that should just about be it. Aid is trying his best to delay, but with a Discord Orb on him, He is just such a prime target. He gets taken down, and Afrika Freaks Blue will be holding on to point B. But again, 91.3% accrued for Rocks Orcas, so they have to one-up that at least. So they basically have to get the second cap.
I think the idea with the self-destruct push there was pretty reasonable, to be honest. Knowing that they already had 2 ticks, they came in with the idea of, let's try to set up for the EMP into the self-destruct. Couldn't happen there. Krung wasn't in a good enough position, but they used the, they baited out because it looked like he was going to EMP, baited out the Transcend. So, okay, that's down. Self-destruct comes in right as it finishes, and they traded up pretty well. They couldn't get the finishing picks, though, because IDK's sound barrier was so good. But this makes me happy. It makes me feel like the Orcas here chose the map. They had really good plans, really good coordination as to how to use it. When Afrika Freaks messed up the contest, they punished them hard. I think this last set that we just saw, that last round, was the most coordinated the Orcas have looked in this best of 5 so far. It wasn't good enough, unfortunately, but you can see the plan is there. The strategy and the coordination is there. It's unfortunately not good enough, perhaps mechanically, but the plans are correct.
I agree with you to a point. I think that they kind of lost it at the end when the clock was running down. You know, they didn't have much. Try swapping over to the Widowmaker. That's when it seems like they just don't know what to do. That kind of goes back to what we saw from them on King's Row, where they just kind of scrambled and they weren't sure what they should go for. So they just start attempting these different picks in hopes that it works. So it becomes a little bit of desperation. But leading up to that, I do agree with you. It seemed like they had a pretty good game plan. It was unfortunate that they couldn't get the cap. But again, 91.3% is a very good percentage to have for not completing the map.
Yeah, the map is not, it's not over by any means, sure. But
they very well could still win this.
Yeah, they could still win it. I just, you know, I feel like we saw the best round from them up into, of course, the Widowmaker swap. We saw for just a moment the Kalios Orisa. We saw quad tank from Envious on this map with that, but it's not going to happen here. And it is going to be the standard triple DPS defense for Rocks Orcas. Not always standard, but I mean, this variation is the one that you use with Try on the Soldier yet again.
I pushed that comp out of my mind. I didn't need to be reminded about the Envy play here at the end of the season in Season 3. Try finds a nice opening pick onto Arhan. And Afrika will just go ahead and slow down the pace of this attack. Go back into the side room here with the help back. Just keep themselves away from the sight lines of the Rocks Orcas, not give them any poke in.
So Breck is the guy who's going to try to get the pick onto either Aid or Try, who have been doing this high ground defense, as you can see here. That's the idea with the Winston sneak around. You've got heavy dive on the side of the Freaks, the old Genji Soldier. And if they kill him, they take the point. That's basically the objective. He's already very low here. Lauren can't push the issue further with Gegri in good position.
He's got a nice jump in right into the back of Krong. Almost takes him down. Gegri is well falling low. Will get popped into the mech, but Try has a very nice Helix rocket connection there onto the Genji. Gets rid of him as Kalios gets popped out of his own mech. Some of the Divas going to be in the pilot form at the moment.
You know, I'm getting Luffy vibes here from Try. He's a very good soldier player, clearly, and they're building comps around him because he has the flexibility to have good accuracy. And when we see the triple DPS defense here.
It is pretty good. Yet again, another Helix rocket connection, getting rid of Breck. And Afrika Freaks Blue are just getting picked off one after the other, and this is just delaying them, slowing them up, and not allowing them to get anything onto the point. It's 2 minutes, 20 seconds remaining.
Yeah, we talked about it was a problem they didn't get the completion, but they had good percentage. But if this continues for much longer, perhaps the Freaks don't even grab that first point. The defense has been solid. Try's been repositioning himself several times, always protected by Gegri as well.
EMP coming down there from Krong. They're going to go ahead and pile in Lucid. The Transcendence trying to keep everybody topped off. They've already lost Breck, however, and Kalios is out of the mech, so they basically don't have any tanks, and Aron has fallen. Now Retry dropping down on the lower ground with Attack Visor, finds 2 kills, but gets taken down. Try has the kills and still holds on to his own Attack Visor, so they're still on this defense as the first tick has not come through. Try will be leaping down as well, but he's got Kalios all up in his face. So will have to kite back to keep himself alive, but there's no first hit coming through for the Afrika Freaks.
I mean, Try has shown us some great soldier today. I really liked everything until he popped the Attack Visor. That was pretty unrealistic that they were going to be able to flip the point after those staggered deaths came in, but still going to be impressed with them. Built the Attack Visor up the same, but they burned through a lot of the time of the Orcas with this, or sorry, of the Freaks. And actually, they're going to go for one last contest.
Yeah, they want to go all in on this one. The sound barrier coming down, catching most of the members on the team, but Arhan has a Dragon Blade out, and he's looking for aid, but the poop away will stop him, and now he has to resheath the blade. Self-destruct tossed up into the air, will find the pick in onto Retry, and Orcas Can they do it? It's a minute remaining, almost half the cap. Do the Afrika Freaks zoning on that ultimate there from Kalios, tries to push them back, but they make it back in onto the point. They keep this one in contention, but he found the pick in onto Legend. 8 goes down, Try is able to knock Kalios out of the mech, but they are just losing the fight. That's going to be the majority of them falling. And Rox Orcas will now have to go ahead and pick up the defense on point B. 4 minutes, 38 seconds remaining.
Kalios running in here in pilot form to try to scout out the defenses here. We'll look to remech, a risky proposition, but I think he'll probably be safe enough with the staggered respawns coming in now for the Orcas. But that was a really nice hold. It bought them a lot of time, forced the Freaks to actually use some ultimates there. Surprising one to say the least, but still very well done. Kalios will get the remech here. Very rare scenario in Overwatch to see a competitive pilot become the mech.
Yeah, no kidding. Makes his way back in there. We'll see Krong leaping forward, throws down the EMP, and Rox Orcas want to take the fight. They already get rid of Lucid, so it's a good start. Just for the one ultimate investment there, but Arhan able to go ahead and answer for one onto Try, and now you can see Afrika Freaks are starting to push forward, closer and closer to the point. Dragon Blade is available yet again, but Arhan dangerously low, has to go ahead and sit back safely.
Soundbarrier here actually does not connect
draws
with
it out, but he's going to go down, but it was just way too soon. He still does have the ultimate. The animation did not complete. Now Recry up in the face of Legend will get taken down from the back by the Helix Rockets. It seems like Rox Orcas might just be able to win this one out. Try going down as Breck did invest the Primal Rage. The rest of the team is backing out, so a bit of miscommunication perhaps.
The roughest part is that they lost the sound barrier for this. Arhan was just out of range of it, so he didn't get that. Had he gotten it, he would have had that Dragon Blade gone off, and then would have been a totally different story. Try was picked off first, and Gegri wasn't in the greatest position, so that was when they saw blood in the water. They committed to the fight, but after they knew they were losing it, they held on to the Transcendence. The Dragon Blade, as you said, because he died in animation, is still available, so the next push here is certainly still a strong one, but the Orcas have ult advantage.
Yeah. I mean, that was a similar situation to what we saw in the grand final. You know, Jaehong, so good that he allowed the enemy Genji to still have the Dragon Blade. Arhan having his because he played poorly. Now draws it out again, finds a kill in on to Try. Doesn't get much more than that. As they go ahead and they push forward with that Transcendence. Recry taking out Gegri in the pilot form. With that Tac Visor, opens up another pick, but losing out onto IDK could be very detrimental to the side of Afrika Freaks Blue. Just have to rely on Lucid alone.
So scary
for the
that
heals,
Recry,
but he gets taken down.
Recry's in such good position here. You should never be allowed to have this position as a soldier. Finally, he will be taken out here as Kalios is removed. He doesn't have the protection anymore. But that was a very scary moment there where Recry's up on the high ground and was just basically shooting fish in a barrel. Good defense. Again, Gegri the hero comes over. The dive comes around as well with Legend, and he is taken out after Kalios was demech there. But time is burning. I mean, the Orcas have a very nice advantage now.
There's no percentage gain here for the Afrika Freaks Blue. Not even a single tick after all of that. They have no ultimates available anymore. And they have to go to 91.4%. A couple kills do get picked up as Striker and Krong do fall. Recry and Lucid coming up with those. Arhan has been taken out. Legend leaping back, keeps himself alive, has that health pack to just go ahead and keep contributing over to Krong's EMPs. Has one ready to go.
Yeah, the
EMP
EMP
tries to kite back. That's going to be the Primal Rage invested by Legend. As the EMP gets dropped in, they're looking for the kills, and Recry will fall as Striker scoops it up. Krong able to keep himself alive, gets the health back yet again, gets the rehack, and it seems like Orcas will be holding on for a bit longer. Nearly one tick accrued.
I think this Dragon Blade is going to have to be it, or it's going to be the first win on the board for Orcas. Lucid has the Transcends, but no sound barrier, so only one support ultimate. No self-destruct to buy time. The Orcas did use the EMP, but Krong's already got another one set up here. Tries in good position. He's going to have Attack Visor. So this push is really going to be do or die time now for the Freaks, and Arhan switches onto the Tracer.
Yeah, again, yeah, exactly. He swapped over onto the Tracer, so now he needs the Pulse Bomb, which is going to be so much harder to have a game-breaking Pulse Bomb without the likes of a Zarya or something that will keep the enemy clumped up together. So he's not going to be able to have nearly as much potential impact as he would with that Dragon Blade.
And with Gegri pocketing Try so hard here, it's very difficult to find these. Here comes the Attack Visor, though, with the Transcendence.
He gets rid of one, even though the sound barrier had come down and the defense matrix was there. Set the Pulse Bomb, gets rid of Legend. Now Gegri knocked out of the mech. Arhan able to follow up, gets the kill onto the Baby Diva form, and that's going to be the first take picked up now for the side of the Afrika Freaks Blue. Looking for a lot more than that, however, they still need to advance by over 40% if they want to close out Volskaya and close out this series. Respawn's getting ready to come in. Krong leaping through, has that EMP ready to go. Pulse Bomb down onto Kalios, will pop him out of the mech as Try follows up with the extra damage onto that mech. Gregory throwing down the self-destruct, trying to zone them out as we enter into overtime. It's 65%. They need over 91 if they want to win this one. Legend goes down as the striker. Gregory yet again team-mech'd by the Afrika Freaks. Now Sound Barrier coming through aid, desperately trying to dash around and keep himself in the fight, but he gets taken down. That might just be
looks like it
enough.
is.
They're ticking upward. Last second contest from Striker. Has to get the recall. Now the leap in from Legend, but the Discord Orb comes through. He immediately gets taken down, and a war of attrition is finally won by the Afrika Freaks. They close this out 3-0, but Rocks Orcas, one of the teams coming into this tournament not having the best record in Challenger, put up one hell of a fight on Volskaya.
They certainly did. I think that was their best map by far. The problem in that last fight for them was once the EMP was done, and the timing there of the self-destruct wasn't perfect for overtime, they got out-sustained. Remember, they were doing this with the triple DPS with Try on the Soldier, and the Soldier of Recry was never bursted down, was never killed. He was healing himself up as well with the double support he had. Obviously, the biotic field to keep himself alive. They won the longer sustained fight there. And, I mean, there was some really good concepts for the Orcas. And I feel like you could see that they're trying to build their defense around Try. That's why I say it gives me Luffy vibes looking at Panthera for how they use the Soldier with their triple DPS comps. Try looked very accurate. He was very well positioned. Gregory gave him a lot of protection. The attack strategies we saw there with the Sombra into the self-destructs, the punishing of Afrika Freaks overextension there on point A was really well done. And even though they lose the series with an 0-3, they get a loud cheer from the crowd here as we close out the night because this team definitely performed better, I think, than many would have expected.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they played, I'd say, probably better than Meta Athena was playing 2 days ago.
Yeah, I would actually say I would go that far myself.
They put up a pretty good fight here, and that's good to see because they do have a very tough group that they have to get through if they want to advance into the round of 8. So as this being their debut, I think that they can feel overall pretty good about the loss despite not picking up a map. They have to get through the likes